Hello, Munson here with The Moment. One half of the Munsons here on The Moment on New Reality TV. And what a weekend it's been for the station. We had our Rise Beyond Summit take place over the last couple of days. That's why Deb is asking. Good morning, my friends. Woo, what a weekend. How are you feeling? I'm feeling great, actually. It should only be 11 o'clock in the morning here in Portugal. And with that great big cultural trick we play of putting the clock forward whilst everyone's asleep. How would it be if we all did it together while we were awake, I wonder? Tom is happy to ponder such questions, I think, when he joins us in just a moment. But what a fantastic weekend that was. I'm going to ask Mrs. M, who is alive and well. I think some people are getting suspicious now. Would you mind closing the door and just saying hi quickly so that people do know that could be anyone's hand? Come on. All right, let's leave the mystery. There she is. She is alive and well. Absolutely. Could you shut the studio door? We've turned a corner here in Portugal. We've got beautiful sunshine. The studio door is open to the garden, and I think I was just a little bit too open by leaving the studio door open as well, and all the noises of the home coming through. Carl Munson being heard on The Moment this morning. But thank you, Deb, for being there. Tom and I will take a little look at the weekend because it was amazing. Hi, Louisa from Deb. I am too. And you all missed an hour of sleep as well. Absolutely. I did feel a little bit robbed, I have to say, this morning. Who else is watching? I know some people are. Please say hi in the chat. Just join us in the chat and say hi. Check in, even though it's only Monday. Check in, because I think we're in the middle of something here. Out and about on the streets, all sorts going on in my neighborhood. There's something in the air, I think, for sure. And connected to that question, what are the signals to you that we're in a period of change and new reality? We certainly rose beyond yesterday in this last couple of days of the spiritual summit of New Reality TV, and many in agreement that there is something afoot right now. And we were considering all sorts of points of view about this incredible time in humanity, in history, that we were all reflecting upon and enjoying and all being bonded and a part of. And a vital part of that team over the weekend was Tom Evans. So let's bring him onto the screen. Hi, Tom.
Hey, yes. I was first on, wasn't I? So
you kicked it off. You kicked it off on Saturday morning. How was it for you?
Yeah, great, thank you. I kept popping in. We had guests all over the weekend, so it's a bit difficult for me to. I kept jumping in when I could, when they were having snoozes and stuff like that. And
yes,
yeah. And I'm always it tisses me every year. They all see it over Facebook that when the clocks go forward, there's a crane at Stonehenge moving all the stones around by one. I always get a titter out of that one.
Yes, is that not true then?
Oh, well, it might be.
Right.
Good morning, Kev. Good to see you. Yeah, and also that idea, I think Mark picked up on it, that I started everything with a reframe, didn't I? Say, well, instead of thinking about time, let's think about the number of miles that we're traveling on the face of the earth and around the sun, and at the sun was the galactic center. And it just gives us a different perspective on time, from which then we can then manipulate the dimension of time.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Mrs. M, can you pass me that itinerary of the weekend? I'd like to thank everybody who took part. Just to your right there, thank you. I meant to bring this and have it in the right place. But yes, you started things off yesterday, Tom. Louisa followed you with Know Your Stars, Know Yourself, how to use the stars to maximize your life. We had Heather Finch, then Siri Opley, Melissa Oatman, and Gillian Holly on the first day. Great work, Gillian, in putting the summit together, by the way. And Kat Kazemi as well concluded things on Saturday night in a brilliant way. Mark Weissman, who you mentioned there, Tom, started things yesterday for us. Then a friend of yours, Reverend Tracy O'Connor, she was amazing. She got us started with a blessing, did a fantastic talk about the Celtic soul, and then blessed us out of it, if that's the right way to express that. But certainly
we can be blissed out or blessed out, can't you?
We were blissed out and blessed out variously, weren't we, throughout the weekend? Chris Ashley, Derek Loudermilk, Daniel Jackson, and Daniel, the past life regressionist, all put in fantastic appearances and shows and webinars and sessions. They were superb, each and every one of them, to a person there. It was remarkable, and it was a fantastic bonding event, wasn't it, for New Reality TV and our team itself?
Yeah, because we only see each other on replay normally, unless I've had a couple of other hosts on my show, and I intend to have more, especially after this weekend. You start to see the resonances between people, and I think I mentioned also that even not knowing everybody on the show, I refer to instead of GMT, I refer to EMT, extended me time, IMT, inner mind time, and OMT, outer mind time. And even without knowing or having spoken to the other hosts, and all of them are adepts at tapping into OMT. That
Yes.
idea that time it's an illusion. We're in the now, but the past and present are there at the same time too.
Wonderful, wonderful. More of your incredible thoughts and ideas as we continue our conversation about flavors of thought, Tom. But before we go there, just one more thing that was launched over the weekend, and that is the subscriptions for New Reality TV. 3D level is free, so the very least you could do to support us and get involved is become a 3D level member. Access to limited ad-free movies and shows, 24/7 free access to live broadcast, our live broadcast, this one you're watching now, and maximum video quality on 3D. Then you can support us at $77 or 77 cents a year, and you'll get what I just detailed for you there, including New Reality TV specials and second tier early access registration privileges and a 5% discount on all New Reality retreat offerings throughout the year. And that's the next thing to come. These retreats will be amazing, I'm sure. 7D level, if you really want to push the boat out and support us in the best possible way, $11.11 per month or $111.11 a year. Everything in 5D and 3D there, and you'll get a free subscription to the amazing magazine that was revealed to us as well over the weekend, the Draft Awaken With Us magazine. Really looks very good, and it'll be out soon, and it'll be part of the 7D package there. And you'll get access to the exclusive New Reality TV community portal as well. So the space of open minds, like minds, open hearts. You'll be in that sort of company, kindred spirits, free access to show hosts and exclusive workshops and live events for our 7D supporters. So please subscribe at newrealitytv.com. Okay, back to Tom then. Our continuing adventure. Is it into the mind? Is it into consciousness? Where is this journey taking us, Tom?
Well, I think it's just what I kind of kicked off unknowingly, and Mark picked up on, was this idea that it's all we need to do to evolve is to change perspective.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean to say what's black is white and to invert everything, but just to have a subtle mind shift. Some of my most popular meditations on Insight Timer just start with the idea just for today. So just for today, do this or think this or be this or whatever. And that's the thing that I didn't realize until after I started it. It's the thing that people that help addicts out use. Just do this one thing for today.
Yes.
And I think it was Mark playing back to me. He was first the second day, as you said. And he was talking a lot about changing perspectives. I did notice that he was talking about the atom as being protons, neurons, and electrons, as opposed to protons, neutrons, and electrons. But I thought maybe it is. Who knows? We haven't got a neuron inside every atom.
Yes.
Who's to say? And also, you let that one go, because if you say, well, actually, it's neutrons, then you're in that fixed the world of the scientists that are very materialist say it's got to be a neuron. It can't be possible that there's a neuron inside an atom. Anyway,
we're genetically modified. I mean, part of the many things that happened over the weekend was genetically modifying the atom, which we did single-handedly.
Exactly. And who's to say atoms aren't intelligent in their own right, as everything else is in the known cosmos?
Yeah, you're pushing against an open door here. I would have it that atoms are absolutely intelligent. Probably the most intelligent subdivision of all reality. It's when they all get together that the problems begin.
Or the opportunities start.
Yes, indeed.
Changing perspective again.
Thank you for that reframe. That's very helpful. Yeah, excellent.
And reframes are.
I beg your pardon.
That's okay. So reframes are. I realised that I've got a load of cards. I've got these traditional Rider-Waite tarot. I've got a set of cryon crystals. I've got the Osho Zen deck. And I've got this deck, which I've used inside business, called the Bright Ideas deck. I don't think you can buy it anymore. And I just pulled a card for you today, Carl.
Thank you.
It's a little bit difficult to see with the contrast, but it's what it says on it is doing. Is it? Yeah, doing.
If I give you full screen, let's zoom in there.
Doing an investigation.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, that is backwards on my screen, but that's okay.
So I can't do that. That won't turn it around. Anyway, Bright Ideas deck. You might find it secondhand somewhere, but it's a great deck.
Yes.
If you want to use tarot inside a business. And all that means today is that we're just going to do some investigation.
Okay.
We're just going to
a tinker under the hood.
As opposed to we're going to these are the all I did when I took the tarot keys and made them into a single English word, making them flavors of thought as opposed to major arcana keys, was a transposition and a reframe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and the idea was that without having to study tarot, which I've done for about 20 years, you could read this one book and get into the essence of the tarot really, really quickly. And then, because they're flavors of thought, and that seed came from thinking about quarks, which are even they're the particles underneath neutrons, neurons, and protons are made of quarks, and they've got colors and spins and flavors. And I thought, well, if we've got flavors, we can make recipes, and those recipes are effectively modern day spells. And the recipes I put in the book were all kind of mainly 3 flavor recipes, one starting on the bottom row, then taking one from the middle row, one from the top row, all ending up with the obvious, right? But when you've got 22 things, you've actually got 22 factorial permutations, 22 times 21 times 20 times 19, all the way down to 1. And that's 51 trillion, would you believe? Over 51 trillion. So you can combine 20. If you went through every single possible permutation of 22 flavors of thought, it's longer than the theoretical lifetime of the universe. If you did one a minute for the next whatever, it'd be billions of years. So, but mathematically they work well together, and also geometrically they work very well together, which saves a lot of time. I've actually uncovered 2 master recipes, which are 2 combinations of all 22 keys, which are I'm playing with inside my Aditum, because they are keys to full awakening, to the next level of consciousness, which is kind of fun. But what I thought we'd do today is just explore the inner mind flavors, which are keys 8 to 14. That's that middle row.
Yeah.
And we'd concoct together a 7 flavor recipe.
Okay, go for it. I mean, there's a lot there, Tom. You sent me off on a number of tangents there. The master recipes and the utter complexity of what we're dealing with, that factorial of 22. That's a very interesting key to the sort of fractal nature of the universe as well, isn't it? Or everything, that underneath the seemingly unified appearance of things, there is that level of possibility and complexity. So things are definitely not as they seem.
No, and all we need to do as individuals is change one of our thoughts, and that will ripple out across the cosmos, right?
Yes.
So
can I sort of hold on that for a moment, from a sort of practical point of view, and how people might respond in this world of personal development and change and transformation that we're talking about. Now, many people do try and change their thoughts, don't they? Yeah. And it doesn't always work out. What's going on there when someone is just thinking, okay, well, I'll not think that, I'll think the opposite of it or something different, and nothing changes? What do you think is actually going on behind that scene?
Well, you know the concept of us having a plastic brain. So our neurons forge patterns. Yeah. And our brain thinks radially, not linearly. Yes. And so what happens? Let's imagine that we really think one way about the world, and the world's out to get us. And then we have this amazing, blinding flash of light on the road to Damascus, and say, actually, I'm part of the world. And therefore, if I just change myself, then the world will change around me. Then you go back home and everything kicks off, and the world's out to get you again. So what happens is you've instantaneously rewired your neurons, but then they get over imprinted again with the old pattern.
Yes. Okay. So there are 2 forces at work. There's the endeavor to transform and change, and the echo or the karma of the other thought doing battle with that, or trying to represent itself. Yeah. Okay. Because it's a habit. It's a habit.
Yeah, it's a habit. But you can actually do some clever stuff with entanglement. So you can entangle with the perfect future version of you. And so you can say, well, actually, okay, the world's out to get me at the moment, but I know in a year's time it's all going to be perfect. And in meditation, you can go and meet that person in your mind. I've got a couple of meditations that actually do it, take you to that point. And you go and meet that person in your mind. And then what happens is you get drawn to that perfect version of you that doesn't live in a world that's out to get them. And then lots of causal things happen on that transition. So you don't have to change in an instant. You can just say, well, you know what, things are not great at the moment, but I'm going to allow them to become better over a period of time. And I got rid of I got rid of doing SMART goals some time ago because I didn't think they were that smart. And I got into goals of learning. Shamanka taught me how to do goals of learning. And
Hold on a minute. Okay, so who's Shamanka? And then tell us more about goals of learning.
Shamanka is a female shaman.
Right, okay.
This lady, she was an ex-journalist, and she'd gone to study with the Native Americans. She had a 8-octave range, and she would beam sound at you to change you. And out of it was so powerful. She sit behind you.
Did you experience this?
Yeah, I went and see her several times in London. Yeah, and she beamed sound at you to make you change, and she'd always like vibrating your molecules so they'd reset in a different form. Yeah.
Oh, which would be a bypass of our habitual plasticity and those sort of things. Okay, all right. So then that's why it's good, isn't it, sometimes to surrender to an external force that you trust.
I'll give you a name, Judith Seelig. You can look her up. She's amazing.
Okay, right.
Judith Seelig, SEELIG. I think she's still practicing.
Okay, and so she reframed your SMART goals, which are the rational Western world idea, aren't they? So we had goals, then we had SMART goals, and you went for a different kind of goal?
Yeah, goals of learning. So what do you want to learn in the next month? By the end of next month, what do you want to learn after 6 months? What do you want to learn after a year? And what happens is the universe then says, oh, someone's woken up. They want to learn something. I will teach them what they want to learn. Yeah. And they put things in your path that are perfect for you at that time. Yes. Sometimes some adversity comes up because you need to learn how to deal with that particular adversity. Yeah. But what tends to happen is the goals you set around 3 to 6 months happen within a month. The goals you set around a year happen within 3 to 6 months, and the things you set out for about 5 years happen within 1 year. It's a beautiful, beautiful, elegant thing. I tell you, I've got a little video somewhere. I might upload it as a short to New Reality TV.
It makes a lot of sense that, and it's starting with the end in mind, isn't it? Or starting from the end, the law of attraction. Think about where you want to be rather than driving from here to something rational and completely, or without feeling, I suppose. I presumably an important part of goals of learning is to enjoy the state now of what you'll be realizing so in the so-called future.
Well, it also ties into generating abundance, because the more promises you make and keep, and the more you increase your promise, the more net worth you have out in the world, and the more money energy that comes your way. So it's it's a massive causal loop to
interesting. Yeah. Okay, but a massive distraction from the main business of the middle row of pattern of flavors here.
I can tell you now that we'll save this for next week, because this is a pre-frame of the reframe, right? So what we'll do is let's just look at key 8, which is moderation. Yeah. And let's just look at key 14, which is adaptation, right? And let's miss the middle bits out, right? Okay. So let's say adaptation is that point a year from now when you've made that amazing change. Yeah. And the thing that kicks it off is moderation. And maybe next week we'll come back and we'll do keys 9 to 13, which would be good, because we don't want to rush this. This is real good stuff. So adaptation is you've changed. The world around you has changed. Naturally, people gravitate towards you, which are the people who can really help you go forward, and you can have fun with as well. So it's sort of, you end up in a new mode. I mean, a good example is, I didn't know I needed a TV show to promote this thing I didn't know I was going to build. You know what I mean? So, yes. But the best way to promote anything is to promote it with high quality content, not by sending Facebook ads out and interrupting stuff like that. Interruption-based marketing is it's an old 20th century thing, isn't it? Fear-based marketing, buy this now, otherwise the price.
Fear of missing out. Yeah, okay.
So adaptation is where you want to be. So actually putting some good stuff out there and effortlessly marketing it. Let's say that's where I wanted to be last year. I didn't know that. All I needed to do then was moderation. Now, moderation in this context is not drinking less or stopping smoking or eating less or anything like that. It's the key for this is the strength in the tarot. I'll get it out for you. Strength in the tarot is a woman that's holding a lion's mouth open.
Now, you often make this distinction, don't you? Because moderation for some people does suggest limitation, doesn't it? And control.
Backwards.
Let me just give you full screen again. Yes, strength. It is
so
backwards.
The woman is holding the lion's mouth open. The lion is our unconscious mind, and then she is the conscious mind trying to moderate all our unconscious murmurings that come up there. And one of those could be, you know, this idea that the world is out to get us, all that kind of stuff. She's moderating that and saying, I'm going to take control of these things and actually take me to a new place. Now, she's not alone in doing this, because she can use, to get to key 14, which is an adapted version of her, she can rely on keys 9 through to 13 to help her get there in a lovely, slow transition, which is joyful, fun, elegant, interesting. Because I'll just pick on one, right on key 10. I'll pick on two, actually. Key 10 is the Wheel of Fortune, which is that represents the cycle of karma. Key 12 is the Hangman, who sees the world upside down. So literally, the world isn't out to get us, the world is conspiring to help us. And we need to have a world which looks like it's out to get us, to inspire us to change the world.
Absolutely. But perhaps not be stuck in that place. And another thought that comes to mind for the second time is how this is a TV game show as well, isn't it? When you're saying we'll take a card from the top row, a card from the middle row, and a card from... It sounds like Countdown, doesn't it? You know, the British quiz show.
That thing, higher, lower. Is it higher or lower?
Price is Right.
Are we going to the above, or are we going down to the below?
There's some mileage in that, Tom. At some point, maybe we should co-host you
just unconsciously, or maybe consciously, because I know you're a very clever man, Carl. You've just said, well, I've been going up linearly or sideways. I've been going up, down, and sideways. What would happen if you went from key 8 to key 16, up to key 10, up to key 4, down to key 12, down to key 20, and then got to key 14? That is a different route.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes, it is.
And then you say, well, actually, that's not working for me. I'll go from key 8 to key 2, down to key 10, down to key 18, up to key 12, up to key 6, and then down to... So you're spiraling into, instead of going linearly across to key 14, you spiral into it. Right? Yes. And then we've just discovered 2 more of those 51 trillion combinations of the keys, right?
Yes.
And then let's say you went one way and I went the other way. We'd both get to adaptation, but we'd both get there from with a different set of experiences. Would that not be fun?
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the uniqueness of our journeys. We don't have enough time in one incarnation to do them all, but we do have the opportunity to discover the ones that help us for the time that we're here.
And you and I end up in adaptation, and we can compare notes.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
So you end up with a 1 + 1 = 3. So I think we've probably mapped out the next 3 shows. We could do the next show. We could just go absolutely horizontally. Then we'll go up, down, sideways, and see where we end up with a different viewpoint. What would be good for that, though, if somebody, Deb, if somebody's got an issue, an opportunity, or a something they'd love to explore, could we use that as the seed for the exploration? So rather than you and I rabbiting on, let's do this around a real practical thing.
Well, others are watching, and feel free then to what are you looking for exactly? Somebody to put an idea into the chat that we can work with.
Yeah, if they've got a problem they'd like some enlightenment on, or an opportunity which is just slightly intangibly there that they want to then develop. You know what I mean? Something which is you feel is just there in your water, but it's not quite happening, and we want to ground that into reality. Then these are exactly the things we can use to get from the A to B and to do that lovely reframe.
Well, Deb is I think Louisa wants to share something. No, there was just a cough. Right, okay. And Deb would you like to share something, Deb, on the screen? And I know others are watching as well, so let's give people a chance just to let that surface and share that with us if they want to in this last 5 minutes of the moment with one of the Munsons today. And Deb was, I think, in agreement with the video that you mentioned, the goals of learning. Was that the video that you had in mind?
Yeah, I'll dig that out and I'll put it up as a short onto NRTV. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. Well, so we don't have any takers. Oh, yes, we do have. Just as I say, we don't have any takers. We do. Yes, I want to find the courage to be a breath coach.
That is brilliant. Now,
could this be a collective endeavor? Anybody who has a new kind of business idea, may they follow Deb on this journey as well?
Yeah. Well, we can then shorten that to say just finding the courage.
Yes. Okay. Finding courage.
Finding courage. Right. Yeah. So instantly, my unconscious murmur says, that even though we can do a really good recipe from key 8 linearly to key 14,
yes,
we would have a better time if we went key 8 to key 16. So
yes,
this is my I'm getting a shiver down the back of my mind, my back now, that there's sometimes better ways to go, but we've got to be led by our unconscious mind,
yes,
controlling the unconscious murmurs, which is the woman holding the lion's mouth open, and the lion's mouth is saying, go another way. Both ways will work, but going down to key 16, back up to 10, up to 4, down to 12, down to 20, and back up to 14 will get us to discover a better flavor of courage that will get us into that lovely breath coach position for depth.
And the lion is the symbol of courage as well, of course.
It happens to be, yeah.
Yes.
But sometimes it can overpower us, and we can be fearful of it.
Yes, yeah. Okay, all right. So, is there more you want to expand on that journey, Tom? Then for Deb finding courage, or for anyone else looking to have the courage to start their business?
If you happen to have a set of cards, right, a set of tarot, doesn't matter what tarot deck. If you were to find key 8, key 16, key 10, key 4, key 12, key 20, and key 14, and just lay them out in front of you somewhere, with no conscious explanation, without me saying a word, next week you may find you've already found the courage. That's how magical this stuff is.
It is. It is, isn't it?
Or I'll reframe that. The courage finds you.
Yes, yeah, because a recurring theme of the weekend was overthinking and trying too hard, wasn't it? And that can sometimes happen, can't it? In the world we live in, you know, the idea of a thought emerging and then being a correct thought, being seen through to its logical conclusion is the way to go with things. And clearly there are many other millions and trillions and billions of possibilities.
And key 10, which is the Wheel of Fortune, it's got 4 aspects, so it goes through the 4 elements. But just saying for Deb, which I'm not going to teach my someone to suck eggs here, but the breath has got 4 phases to it. Right, it's got the in, the pause, the out, and the pause. So there's 4 phases, and that maps into key 10. So when we get to key 10 next week, we're really going to be breathing courage into our neurology, into every single neuron in all our atoms, to paraphrase my friend Mark.
Yes, yeah, it is overthinking, says Deb. Okay, and you might want to screenshot. Can you just give us that journey one more time across the deck there, please?
Yeah, we're going to do 8, 16, 10, 4, 12, 20, and 14.
And this is work in progress. It's for anyone with a similar sort of issue, and we'll be picking up on this next week.
Finding the courage. Finding the courage.
And so the agenda is set for next week of finding the courage. And I think that's a great message in these times. I think a lot of people are thinking about who they really want to be in this time. And again, that it's not just about business, is it? Being who you truly are, having a sense of that, but not quite knowing how to do it out of a lifetime's conditioning. This would also be a very useful use case, I think they say in IT.
It is. I mean, 12 years ago, I was going to do a school where I taught master chefs how to put these recipes together. And I didn't have the courage.
Ah, okay.
But I do now.
Right. Okay. So expect a knock on your door, chefs. Okay. Right. We're in the last few seconds. Thanks so much, Tom. Tom Evans.
Great, fantastic work over the weekend. You really held it all together.
It was a joy to do, and that makes things easier, doesn't it? When it's enjoyable. I really did enjoy myself, and looking forward to the next one already. Cheers, Tom. Thanks, Deb, and thanks to the others who are watching but didn't say hi. Maybe you will next time. Bye for now.